Zap's a king. Zap thing. And the Bitcoin Amigos Friday stream. Energy high, it's like a dream. Music pumps the price higher. Chris, Jordan, Jerry inspired. It's Fat Zap Friday. You might zap less on any other day, but today is Fat Zap Friday. Yeah. Real fat zaps coming in hot, spreading the love, hitting the spot. Yeah. Fat Zap Friday. Yeah. Community loves to show their support. Hype in the chat like it's a sport. Friday stream turned up to 10. Fat lightning strikes again and again. Fat Zap Friday. You might zap less on any other day, but today is Fat Zap Friday. Yeah. Real fat zaps coming in hot, spreading the love, hitting the spot. Yeah. Fat Zap Friday. Yeah. Lightning from your fingertips, like a kiss from orange lips. Zap's a king, Zap's a king. It's a zap thing. Yeah, it's Fat Zap Friday. You might zap less on any other day, but today is Fat Zap Friday. Yeah. Real fat zaps coming in hot, spreading the love, hitting the spot. Yeah, Fat Zap Friday. Yeah. Zap's king. It's a zap thing. Zap's a king. Zap's a king. Zap's a king. It's a zap thing. Zap's a king. It's a zap thing. Zap's a king. Zap's a king. It's a zap thing. Yeah. Zap's king.
Hello out there. We're on the air. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Fat Zap Friday to you. Hope everybody's doing good. I certainly am. What more could you ask for right now? That's what I'd like to know. What more could we possibly ask for in life than what we got going right now? Okay, Zap Stream is live. We got the YouTubes. We got Arnie's wallet here live as well. And maybe Rumble. How are we doing, Rumble? Arnie's thinking about showing up today. Thinking about showing up for work. He's dancing around the idea. What do you think, buddy? Hey, there he is. There's Arnie boy. Arnie made an appearance on the show with Bitcoin, not crypto yesterday. He was interrupting the show, whining. He's looking for some food. So I don't know if that'll be on the show or not. I hope so. Anyways, we had a really good chat. Keep an eye out for that one. I think it's going to be today or tomorrow, he said, I think. That'll be on Bitcoin, not crypto channel. Good guy, Canadian. We had a really good chat about a lot of important stuff. Oh, thanks for stopping by, Arnie. We get a couple zaps here. Oh, some fatties. Is that right? Oh, yeah, I want to give a couple shout outs here because, well, first of all, the one yesterday from BitBilly, it turned out I was right. It was BitBilly. Sent in 102,000 sats, the fattest zap in Bitcoin Journey history. 102,000 sats. And then also last night, we had a couple zaps come in. One was for 1,000. One was for 888. And we just got another one for 888 as well. But we got one from, I believe it was from Paul. I can't confirm this, but tying a few things together, I believe this one was from Paul, and it was 8,888 sats. So thank you for that. Thank you for all those apps. They're very much appreciated. And we got 500 from Timber Crasher for Fat Zap Friday. Happy Friday. Thanks for the show, Timber. Thank you, my friend. All right. That's a good way to start the show for Fat Zap Friday. Clean your machine. Good morning, Tom. Friday, let's go. It is Friday. It is the Amigos Friday today, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully everybody shows up today. Let's get a record amount of people showing up for that one today. Pour a couple beers, join me. I'm the only one who drinks on that show, which is a little unfortunate, but whatever. It is what it is. Actually shotgunned a beer on the show live when we hit 100K. I shotgunned a show beer on Bitcoin Amigos. It's a fun show. It's a good way to spend a Friday afternoon. We talk about many different subjects within Bitcoin, some news stuff, some of our own opinions on things, and some tips and tricks for people who are somewhat new to Bitcoin. So again, that is the Bitcoin Amigos Friday stream today, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Buck 52,000. Good morning. We got Duncan in the chat this morning. Good morning, Duncan. Timber Crasher got snowed in from the winter storm in the southeast U.S. No work today. Cheers to that. I'm sure Timber Crasher will find some stuff to do. Timber Crasher is one of our advisors at Bitcoin Citadel. Had a couple emails actually in the inbox. I'll get back to you today some point, but a couple people looking for some help. So again, if you do need some help, I keep hearing this over and over and over again from everybody who reaches out to us. They say, I need some help. I don't know what I'm doing. I've reached out to a couple people or a couple different companies, and they were asking way too much. One company, I don't know who it was for sure, and I don't really want to name them either, but they were going to charge 2 million sats to help somebody set up a cold card. 2 million sats. Like, that's almost robbery, in my opinion. I know that like Bitcoin knowledge is scarce and this stuff's really important, but it's still, you have to do the right thing. And we're not in the business of ripping people off. We're in the business of helping people protect their Bitcoin. And yes, we asked for a little bit of value in return, but it's nothing compared to the other companies that are out there charging insane amounts to help people with their Bitcoin stuff. So if you are looking for help with anything within Bitcoin, setting up a hardware device, running a node, inheritance planning, UTXO stuff, Bitcoin strategy, we definitely have somebody who can help you with that. It'll be myself or one of maybe Timber Crasher or one of the other few amazing, knowledgeable people within Bitcoin Citadel. So we are very early still. We don't even have a website yet, but we have been helping people and we want to help more people. So if you're looking for help, just shoot me an email. All my information is always in the show notes. Everything, website, email address, nostr, npub, everything's in there. Killer, good morning. Arturo, let's go. Lazy River, a couple Bitcoin Journeyman here, and Kyle. And we got Oliver. Let's fucking go. My first comment on your show, and send some sats. Been watching for months. You're like the people's Michael Saylor. I don't know about that. That's a bit of a stretch, but I appreciate it. And thank you for the zap this morning. And somebody else just sent in 888 sats for Fat Zap Friday. Let's go. Zap streams, people are showing up over there too. Going to be a good show today. We're going to get to the stuff that I didn't talk about yesterday. Oh, it was Daniel. Okay, my comments are showing up here now in Zap stream. I had to refresh. So it was Daniel who sent in 888 sats. Thank you, Daniel. Daniel is another one of our Bitcoin advisors in Bitcoin Citadel. Like, I don't know. I honestly think that you'd be very hard pressed to find more knowledgeable people within a small group, and kind of like I would call it like the people's Bitcoin advisory firm. Maybe we'll trademark that, because that's what we are. We just like helping people. We're not in the business of ripping people off. We're not going to take a huge cut of your sats. We want you to have the Bitcoin. We want to help you protect your Bitcoin. So thank you, Oliver. Thank you, Daniel. And good morning, Leno. It's a great name, Leno. Love that. Hey, Rick. Good morning, Rick. Happy Friday. Smash the like, or else your weekend will suck. That's so true. Okay, we got 40 people and 14 likes today. Kind of sad for a Friday, but at the same time, we got some zaps. We got Fat Zap Friday, so they're more important than likes. But thank you, Rick. And we got James Bond in the chat. I had the pleasure of meeting James Bond for the first time this week. He was looking for some information on the super backed vault, encrypting his backup phrase. So Craig and I got to meet James Bond finally, the mysterious James Bond, and everything I imagined and more. It was great to meet our good buddy James Bond. Not in person yet, but over the screen. Leno says, glad I could finish university early today. Now I can enjoy the show live. Greetings from Germany. We got quite a few people actually from Germany who watch the show. And we got Craig over in Zapstream. There we go. There we go. And Daniel says, hey, Craig, I need to talk to you about finalizing my inheritance protocol. I'm done with SB. What's SB, Daniel? Oh, super backed. Done setting it up. Gotcha. Sorry. Good morning, Nick. Good morning, Phil. Baby boomer in England. Your shows are reassuring me that I'm doing the right thing. So thank you. Well, thanks for being here. That's very admirable for the baby boomers out there who are taking this stuff seriously. So shout out to Phil. 2 million sats. Okay, the realm is also becoming fuckers like Wall Street. Yeah, that's what kind of I'm thinking too. It's robbery. Yeah, 2 million sats to set up a cold card is robbery. And this is directly from somebody who just reached out to this other company. So this isn't my theory on things. This is somebody who just emailed me last night saying that they're looking for help and don't want to pay 2 million sats for it. And I don't blame them. Yeah, ours would be about 10 or 15% of that to help set up a cold card or less, depending on how long it takes, depending on what's involved. But that's crazy. That's I don't even know what the premium on that would be compared to ours. So if you're looking for help, I would say shop around a little bit. Definitely send us an email, get a quote from us, and you can compare that to other firms and other advisory firms. And the shitty thing is I think that people will probably view us as less because we're charging less, but I don't think that's the case at all. If you look at Craig, Daniel, Timber Crasher, you got some of the most knowledgeable people that you'll find in Bitcoin anywhere. And they want to help people. So I love it. I'm very excited for that venture. I think it's going to be a really, really good thing for the community here. Okay, so Oliver was the one who sent 888 sats. So thank you, Oliver. We got that one in here. Dips are gifts. That's right. Morning, Danny. And Mert says, thanks for making a clip of my comment yesterday. Yeah, that was, it's funny. I made a couple clips yesterday and got some really mixed reviews on it, as I knew I would. But I got a lot of good comments. But then there was I think 4 or 5 people who unsubscribed from the channel because I posted that video about, I think it was called Justice is Coming or something. Anyways, yeah, I knew that would happen. But at the same time, I don't care. It's I want to talk about this stuff. I think it's important to talk about. And if people are going to leave because of that, then see you later. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I call that filtering the community. And we've done a lot of filtering in the last year. Eric, good morning. Another great day to stack sats. That is absolutely right. Enrico says, get a steel plate for your seed phrase. Fire in SoCal is scary. Yeah, that's a good opportunity here. Let's bring up this quickly. The show is going to be a little bit shorter today. I started early because I started late yesterday. So we got to cut the show a little bit early. We got a meeting at in an hour from now. So I guess that's not really that short. When I started the show here, the shows were 10 or 15 minutes long. So maybe we're actually long. So anyways, if you're looking for a steel plate, if you want a better way to protect your seed phrase, your recovery phrase, kind of the natural progression here. Let me take this off for a sec. I talked about this on one of our 365 days of Bitcoin. Yesterday, actually, I did a full show talking about private keys, recovery phrases, how to store them, some tips, best practices. So that was day 9 of 365 days of Bitcoin. But kind of what I talked about on the episode, I'll give you a Cole's notes on it. So I think that people, when they first get into Bitcoin, like their first step, when you set up a wallet, every wallet comes with a recovery phrase. So if you have a device like a phone or a laptop or a hardware device, you're backing that up in case something were to happen to that device. So let's say I had my Bitcoin wallet on my phone and I lost my phone or it just stopped working. And keep in mind that the shelf life on some of the hardware devices like Jade's, to me, Jades are great. Like I absolutely love the security that Jade has. It doesn't store your private keys on the device at all, which is awesome. But like a Jade, a Cold Card, all these devices aren't going to last forever, right? They have a shelf life. Some of them have a battery, some of them just the technology and how, what's the word I'm looking for here? Devices just die over time. Some of them have 5 years, 10 years, but the recovery phrase is meant to back that up in case something happens to that. Whether you lose it, whether it just stops working, whether you have a fire, whatever it is. So you should absolutely, the first thing you should be doing is get a piece of paper, like a nice piece of paper, not just like a flimsy notepad or anything like that. Like get a nice piece of paper and write your seed phrase on there. Put this in the safe, put it in a safe place. This is kind of like your first step within Bitcoin. Paper. It's better than nothing, but it's not the best option there. And then you kind of progress to a steel plate. You put the exact same words on a steel plate in case of fire, like we're talking about here, or in case of flood, any water damage. You keep the steel plate with your 12 or 24 word recovery phrase on it. So with that, if you're looking for something like that, a hardware device and the steel plate, this comes with the stamp seed. So you have the 12, 24 words. You can put it on there. You got the guide. You got the letters, the anvil, and of course, the hammer. So this is from our friends at QuickBit in Regina. And so this is a 425 Canadian, very, very good deal. And if you use 88 Sats discount code, you get 15% off of that. So that's if you're looking to get your recovery phrase on steel to protect it from all of the elements. This is what it looks like. This is the starter kit right here from QuickBit. Nice special edition box. Probably going to fall over and dump my coffee here. But it's got a jade. It's got the... Holy, this is heavy. This is heavy. This is the hammer. Heavy. I wasn't prepared for this. Look at this thing. You could stamp your seed in or protect yourself with this thing. So that's kind of like the high-priced item within this set. That's the stamp seed in there. So you go from nice paper. And by the way, these things are not good. And I actually posted on Nostr. I tagged NVK in it. And I said, please stop including these wallet backup cards with the cold cards because they're shitty. They're so small. They're so easy to lose. You can't write on there. You can't read what you're writing on there. I've had friends and people I've helped who have lost this card and lost access to their Bitcoin because this thing's so shitty. So I said, make it better or just don't put it in there. So even if you have one of these, don't put your backup phrase on this because these things are so easy to lose. Put it on like a nice piece of paper that you can put in the safe that you're never going to lose. And when you need it, you have your recovery phrase. So you go from paper to steel, and steel should cover most things for a long time. But then when you have the sufficient knowledge and kind of know how to do some things, that's when you start encrypting your recovery phrase and all of your private digital information within SuperBacked. So that's kind of like the evolution there. But make sure, if nothing else, get it on a nice piece of paper and go from there. So that has been recovery phrases with Jor. Flash memory, that's what I'm looking for, Craig. So those devices, their flash memory, which is used in most hardware wallets, degrades over time before failing around 10 years. So you want to get something in place before that. It's not a rush. You get a hardware device, you get it on paper, you're good for a while. But over time, you want to start thinking about a really good way to protect and encrypt your recovery phrases in case something were to happen to your device. That's when you're going to need that. So even with SUBSTACK and Steel, like you still need the device there, your wallet, your laptop, or your hardware device. But this just backs it up. I got Arnie hair in my mouth. Freaking hair everywhere. There is hair everywhere. Good morning, Ginger. Good morning, my friend. Mert says, software ruling the world clearly since 20 years. It would be weird for software world still stuck in an old monetary system. We have clever products thanks to technology. Why not engineer money? Well, we do now, thankfully. But it is pretty crazy how far we've come technologically, and we didn't have a good money for the whole time. But it's tough. Like if you think about all the thought and things that went into creating Bitcoin, like there's a lot of things to deal with there when you're worried about digital stuff. So again, it is a whole evolution. That's the other thing I would say is like when you first get into Bitcoin, and even if you're somewhat new to Bitcoin, even if you're experienced in Bitcoin, understand that your security setup is always going to be evolving. This isn't something you just set up and you put away for 20 years and hopefully it works in 20 years and hopefully you remember what to do. This is something that you got to check in on every couple months, probably, I would suggest, and pay attention to what's going on. Subscribe to some like privacy and security things. That's part of like the SUBSTACK protocol that Craig and I offer, is like weekly security bulletins to make you aware of the threats out there and what you can be doing for them. So that's included in the whole package there. Yeah. Danny says, fires happen so fast. Have your backup QR code where you can get it no matter what happens. Exactly. And so the last thing I'll say about like the SUBSTACK encryption, and I mean steel, titanium, I think the seed plate is titanium, which is supposedly better than steel. But that's the other thing I'd say to that is like if you go through this whole process over time and you get to the point where you want to be in your security setup, something happens to your house and you have SUBSTACK or steel. SUBSTACK, you should disperse your QR codes with some friends and in other geographical locations. And then all you need is one password to remember. You put that in steel. And so if your whole house burns down, all your devices, all your cell phones, all your laptops, you can still recover your Bitcoin easily. You go grab a QR code from wherever you left it, you put in your password, and your private key appears. Your secret appears. So that's why I love that. That's why I love that setup there. SeparatX says, today I did some research for Bitcoin to reach 10 trillion market cap. We need about 250 billion capital influx every year with a 1 to 10 multiplier, which is very bearish. We will have it in 4 years. That is 500K a coin. Yeah, $10 trillion doesn't seem like a whole lot for a market cap, considering gold's about just under 20 trillion right now. And Bitcoin is, I would say, 100 times better than gold. Yeah, Jesus. I mean, what? I'm not going to tell people what to do here, but that seems like a lot to me. BTC sessions, he's asking $750 an hour, probably US. But here's the thing. He's put in the work. He's a very knowledgeable guy. He's probably very busy. And people who are willing to pay that, that's fine. He's obviously has enough demand that he can charge that. Do I agree with it? No, but it's not up to me what he does. So I'm not going to shit on him. I do think that there's some other companies out there who are asking more than that. If they're charging you 250 mil or 2 million sats for setup. Morning, Daniel. Good morning, Daniel. And good morning, Lori. Had the pleasure of talking to Lori last week. It's nice to meet all the people in the community here over time. Good morning, Lori. This is another option too. If you want to save some sats, Dan says buy some washers and bolts with nuts to hold it together. Yep, that works too. That works too. Leno says, do you think a self-hosted wallet on my phone is better until my Bitbox arrives? Or should I leave sats on the exchange until it arrives? Still getting into the game. That's a really good question, honestly. And it's really dependent on your risk tolerance and your knowledge overall. I do think that if you have a good self-hosted wallet on your phone, like chances are you're going to have that Bitcoin in a month to 2 months from now, even a year from now. You're probably going to have, like, I haven't heard of many people getting hacked on their phones. If you have a good solid 2FA authenticator in there, like that's a pretty solid setup and you're not going to go wrong. You're not going to mess anything up. But again, at the same time, if you want to just leave it on the exchange, it's probably good there too. It's just things have happened. Things will happen in the future. And I don't know when that's going to come. Nobody knows. And so all we can do is like not panic, but just be aware that we're always going to be evolving, learn as you go. And kind of when your knowledge is sufficient enough, that's when you kind of upgrade to like the next part of your security setup. But take it slow. I think that's the most important part. The majority of people who lose their Bitcoin, it's themselves. It's not their phone getting hacked. It's not the exchange going under. It's them trying to overcomplicate things and losing their Bitcoin. So honestly, I would say either of those is probably fine. Whatever you're more comfortable with. Maverick says you strengthen the facets of your life of which you pay attention to. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, here's a good resource from Craig. All right, let's bring this up. Craig sent this over in the Zap stream. So this is the average lifespan of media. I wouldn't have guessed this, honestly. Like this seems kind of backwards to me. But anyways, it says hard drive disks, HDDs, 4 to 7 years, solid state drives, SSDs, 5 to 10 years, flash memory, about 10 years, CDs, 20 to over 100 years, DVDs, same thing, 20 years to 100 years, and acid-free laminated paper, several decades to over a century. So that's really good information, actually. And I didn't know this, but the people with a lot of Bitcoin out there, like Coinbase, did you know that Coinbase actually holds their recovery phrases, their security setup on paper? They don't have it on devices or anything like that. They have it on paper, laminated, acid-free paper, but they have it dispersed. And that's kind of the beauty of SUBSTACK is you're able to disperse with just one password. It's on paper, it's laminated, and it should last several decades to over a century. Unless you have a fire. But then at the same time, you shouldn't have all your QR codes in the same place anyways. So I'm sure people are getting tired of me talking about that. But at the same time, I do think it's incredibly important to make sure that your recovery phrase is just as solid as your device. All right. Well, Jay says, I like the Keystone Steel product the best. Paid 39 Canadian dollars on Black Friday. I've never seen that one before. But yeah, I mean, there's no really right answer for everybody here. It's just kind of based on where you are and based on what you're comfortable with. Don't overthink it. Just take it slow. Have some help if you need. And that's absolutely the most important part of this whole thing is the protecting your Bitcoin and making sure that if something were to happen to you, your Bitcoin is going to be in good hands. And again, this is the last thing I'll say about it today, but the SUBSTACK stuff does include a full detailed breakdown of inheritance protocol. And it's the thing I love absolutely the most about it is that we don't have any of your information. The whole thing's non-KYC. We don't know how much Bitcoin you have. We have no idea what you're storing in your secret phrase box, your text box. I think it's the most private. It's the most cost-effective option and a really solid inheritance plan built into it too. So underrated part of Bitcoin is the inheritance stuff. So many people are sleeping on that. Bitcoin generations, Bodie. Good morning, all. Long-term vision, think and plan for your family out to 200 years. Oh, me and Bodie had such good chat yesterday. If you haven't watched that one yet, make sure you go check out the Bitcoin generations. We got 2 episodes now, and you can find Bitcoin generations on YouTube now. So, and good morning to Parker. All right, let's get into some freaking price and stuff here. No, not price. Let's get to the mempool though. Let's get to the mempool. Let's see what's going on over in the deep end, the pool. All right, we're currently sitting at block height 878642. And pool is the winner of the last block. And it looks like we're what is this? Are we have 1 block behind? We're right on track for 10 minutes. The next difficulty adjustment is going to happen this weekend, January 12th. So it's looking like Sunday, and we're right on track. So we'll see what happens with that. This could be the first downwards difficulty adjustment we've had in about a month or 2. Since September, actually, a lot of months, 3 or 4 months. So the Bitcoin network has been absolutely buzzing in terms of people plugging in. All right, where is the stuff I want to talk about today? Oh, I got to send this to myself still. It's an Ethereum thing. Okay, let me, where should we start here? Where should we begin? Okay, I mean, here's just kind of going off of the security stuff and why this is so important. This is scary. I'm not going to lie, this made my stomach turn a little bit. But this from Bitcoin News says, a Canadian crypto forum moderator and his family are in hiding after surviving a kidnapping attempt, according to La Presse. The assailants demanded his Bitcoin, resorting to threats of extreme violence. They had equipment to torture me, it says. So what do we think about that? How do we think about that? It's something that we need to be focused on pretty significantly. I think this is something that we do need to be worried about, especially for somebody like me, who's like has a YouTube channel. Like this is a really scary thing for me, and it should be for anybody who's ever told your friends, family, coworkers that you have Bitcoin. So, I mean, this is a perfect example of why you never tell anybody ever how much Bitcoin you have. Things like this. You can talk about it, but don't ever tell anybody how much Bitcoin you have. That's the number 1 rule in Bitcoin. So just kind of thinking through this, like this is something that we all need to be aware of. We need to be conscious of, and we need to be thinking about all the time. And one of the things I've talked about this in the multi-generational wealth stuff and some of the other courses we've done, but like the visualization aspect of Bitcoin and how it ties in. Actually, I might have done a podcast on this. So I would encourage you, let me just double check that, because that was a good episode in terms of visualization and thinking all the different threats that could come in and how you would react to that. Because the more time you spend thinking about it and actually going through it in your own head, the more prepared you're going to be if something were to ever happen like that. What was that one called? It might have been Decay and Decoy. Decay and Decoy. I think that's what Decoy. Wow. I think that's what it was called. I'll have to double check. I'll find it after, hopefully, and I'll put in the show notes for you if you want to go listen to that. But I talked about like the visualization aspect of Bitcoin. And I said, like, if you think about like race car drivers and alpine ski racers, like their visualization techniques is a matter of life and death. Those professionals, racers and skiers, they've gone through that track a million times in their head before they actually step onto the track. And I think we need to be thinking about Bitcoin in the same way, whereas we foresee every possible scenario, we play it out in our heads, and we play out actually how we would respond to it and what we would say. And if you actually if you thought about somebody actually coming to your house and kidnapping you for your Bitcoin, like, what would you say? I don't know. I mean, I know what I would say, but I don't know what you would say. But you need to figure out how that would all play out. And again, the more times you think through that, the more times you play it through in your head, the more ready you're going to be if it were, God forbid, to ever happen to you. And so having things not only in place, and literally my goal here for my security is that if somebody came to my house and held me at gunpoint or tried to kidnap me or torture me, which is wild to think about, I would actually be so certain that I couldn't do anything with my Bitcoin that it would flow through me. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you're in that situation, you were panicky, and they had, in this case, they had equipment to torture me. Again, this sounds fucking crazy to talk about. But like, if you're in that situation, you actually have access to your Bitcoin in your house, your conviction is going to be a little bit less than somebody who's for sure, there's nothing that you can do about it. We're going to have to drive somewhere, or we're going to have to, it's different. So you have to actually get to the point where if somebody came to your house, there's nothing that they could do. There's no way that they could get any of your Bitcoin, or you have a decoy there. But that's the things you have to be thinking about. And you have to have your security set up in place, and you have to be ready for something like that to happen. So this is serious stuff. It's scary as hell, but it is something that definitely could happen to any of us. So we need to be ready for it. We need to be ready for it. Hey, Duchess. Morning, Jor. Morning, Arnie. Arnie's been here. I just haven't been paying attention to him too much this morning. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you to we got 1,000 Fat Zap. Looks like it came from Zapstream. Yes, Duncan zapped 1,000 sats. Happy Friday, and we got Sunshine. Sunshine zapped 420 sats over on the Zapstream, and one more for good measure. Night 99 zapped 121 sats. Thank you. Thank you one. Thank you all. And Craig says, we got Plunger over in the chat as well. So we got Craig, we got Duncan, we got Sunshine, we got Plunger, we got Pleb Mail, and Night. Craig says, if you think you're at risk, we should be using multi-sig, including backups. You should not be able to control your private keys without going to multiple locations, ideally far apart, and one commercially safe deposit box. Maybe a dog and a home alarm with a plan on top. Take this stuff seriously. Take those words seriously. And again, we're kind of in the spot right now where this isn't a huge threat yet. And so I don't want anybody to panic here. That's not what I'm talking about this stuff for. You don't need to panic. This isn't a threat right now, but it's going to be. As Bitcoin's value goes up, whatever you're holding is going to go up in value, and there's going to be a bigger target on your back. So that's why I'm saying, just at this point, start thinking about it, start putting things in place and taking some action. And don't tell anybody how much Bitcoin you have, ever. Too serious for a Friday here, too serious. Danny says there is a non-zero risk of putting your address into Mempool to check your balance because your IP address can be linked to your Bitcoin address. Yep. That is true as well. I wouldn't say that's a huge threat, but something to think about. You got to be conscious of this stuff. That's it. That's the kind of the point I'm trying to make here. Phil says, as a 69-year-old boomer, Bitcoin has been a steep learning curve. I have a Ledger Nano S, but think maybe I should change to a new Jade Plus or a Cold Card MK4. What do you think? Both of those would be great. Either of those would be great options. I would say get the Jade Plus or the Cold Card MK4. That's kind of my main one. I love that device. And I've actually started using the Cold Card Q. I've been playing with it a little bit. So one of those, anything that's air gap, nothing that connects to your computer, your USB port, it's fine. Again, I'm not trying to cause panic here. I'm not trying to make you go make a purchase today or tomorrow. But like if you do have a Ledger or a Trezor or anything that plugs into your laptop, you should just be looking for a better option, which is an air-gapped hardware device. So I've taken a lot of flack on this channel for shit talking Ledger and Trezor, and who knows, maybe they're completely safe. I just feel more confident, comfortable myself in an air-gapped device. That's it. So if it's worth it to you, then make the investment. If it's not, then just keep as you are. But again, I do think that when we're talking about serious stuff here, which we are, you should have the best for it. You shouldn't just be shortcutting this and taking a slightly less option because it's easier and cheaper for you. You need to take this stuff seriously. Bank level security. Duncan says, need to work on my pain tolerance. That is true. That's another way to say it. All right, we got another zap here from Duchess, it looks like. 1,000 sats to Arnie and the rescue dogs from Lucky the dog and Duchess. So thank you for the super chat and for the zap. Double duty today. And this is another good one here. Cleaning machine, a nice collection of firearms helps me feel secure. Rick says, you want to steal my Bitcoin? I sold that Ponzi scheme crap ages ago. I mean, yeah, that's a good call. Mark says, we never have enough Bitcoin. That is true. And Rajesh with a super chat. I forget what this is. Rubies? I feel like you've super chatted this channel before and we had this talk before. But 100, I think it's rupees. We're going to go with rupees. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sean says, bought a chunk, seems to be a rule that the dip happens now. All right, what's happening with the price today? Are we crashing again? I love it. I absolutely love it. When you guys hear the interview with, actually both the interviews I did yesterday, well, not interview, but like the Bitcoin Generations one and the Bitcoin Not Crypto one, I talked about thinking like a buyer instead of a seller and thinking like a farmer and how farmers think about this stuff. So maybe I'll just explain it because I was actually going to do a podcast on this, but I don't think I'm going to have enough time to do it today. There's too much stuff going on. So let me kind of explain what I was talking about yesterday on Bitcoin Generations and on the other show, Bitcoin Not Crypto. So when you're thinking about Bitcoin here, I know we've been kind of raised throughout our lives to think about the whole buy low, sell high mentality. That's like, you read any investment book out there, that's like the main piece of advice. Buy low, sell high. Do the opposite of what other people are doing. It's hard to do, but that's the advice that we're given. And I think people are really taking the wrong approach here within Bitcoin in terms of being sad when the price drops. And so I told people to start thinking like a buyer instead of a seller. When you think like a buyer, your whole perspective changes within Bitcoin. Because you have to understand that this is a much different asset than the assets that we're used to. This is something that we're going to buy and we're never going to sell. So why are you thinking like a seller? And the analogy that I used yesterday, which is a farmer. Think about a farmer and think about how farmers think about their assets, their land. I see Bitcoin very much like digital land, like good farmland. You can't create new farmland. You can't print good farmland. So I think that that's honestly the closest thing in comparison to Bitcoin that we have is farmland. And if you think about it from a farmer's perspective here, let's say a farmer in this area has like, I don't know, 5,000 acres of land, prime land, and they've had in their family for generations. And so do you think that farmer, do you think that he's going on to his phone and his computer every day, every hour, and checking the price of his farmland? No, he's aware of it. It's an important part of his whole operation, but he's not going onto the internet every day and checking the price of his land and hoping it's going up. What he's doing, he's actually going onto the internet and looking for land around him, good opportunities that he can buy more land. And that's how I think people should be thinking about Bitcoin. You should be looking to buy more land in your area, digital land. And that's what farmers do. They go scout out the areas, they find good deals, and they want to buy more land around them. And I think if you start thinking about Bitcoin in the same kind of terms as that, it totally changes the way you look at this thing. So when the price is up, I mean, it's okay to check it once in a while. You should be aware of what you're holding. Like, yeah, your net worth goes up. But in our case, when we're trading our time and energy for Bitcoin, we're actually getting less Bitcoin when the price goes up. And farmers get this. So when you think like a buyer, you think like a farmer, everything changes within Bitcoin. So that's what I kind of thought of yesterday in terms of an analogy that people should be thinking about here. I like the farmer one. I think the farmer is the closest thing that we have to Bitcoiners in terms of mentality and how they look at this asset. It is digital farmland or land, and you want to get as much as you can. So you should be happy when the price dips. That's what farmers do. Imagine you have a farm and the lot next to you goes on for sale. You're buying it. Doesn't matter what the price is, you're buying because you want to expand your land. You want to expand your generational wealth. So that's kind of how I think about it. Plunger, look at this. Zap, 1,000 sats from Plunger. And we got Spaceman, 121 sats. Says a farmer can't grow crops on sun alone. A healthy mix of rain and sun is what makes things grow. Truth. That is the truth. All right. What do we got here for the chat? What else we got? Mark says the Jade connects to a server using the pin. It's something I don't feel well about. I'm not sure what you mean by that. There is actually a whole bunch of different ways you can set up the Jade. You can use a USB. You can plug it in. You can store the private key on there, or you can go fully air gapped. And actually, the pin, or not the pin, the private key is actually not stored on the Jade if you do it properly. So you create your own QR code, you laminate that. That's how you access your Jade. It's actually not stored on the device. Yeah, don't plug it in your computer. 100 rupees. I was right. Rupees. Danny says, buy low, sell high is a game of hurry up and wait sometimes. And Timber Crasher says, when Bitcoin crashes in price, my heart hurts more when I don't have any more fiat to smash by. That's all I care about. We will miss the days of 100 or 1,000 USD getting 1 million sats. Yep, no doubt. No doubt. Brandon says, I got the Tangent wallet a few days ago. Super easy to set up and use. Tangent wallet, I don't think that that's the most secure option out there for you. You're probably good to start, but I think you should look at something down the road a little bit more secure and more private too. And maybe Tangent has updated this since I was made aware of this, but apparently Tangent, you only get one receive address, which is horrible for privacy. I could be wrong. Maybe they updated that. Maybe there's something new. What I saw when I posted a video about that last week, somebody said that they're planning to do that in Q1, make multiple receive addresses within the Tangent wallet, but I haven't seen it yet. They haven't done it. So unless I missed it. So Tangent's good. It's better than, a phone, maybe, but you should be looking further down the road to get something like a cold card or a Jade, I would say. Mars, nice looking woofer in the picture there. Love that. Everybody should have their dog as their profile picture. That's my request. And Brandon here, let me keep addressing this because this is I don't mean to scare you. I don't want to make you go buy a cold card today. That was not my intent. I'm just trying to make you aware of some of the things that I've heard and seen within Bitcoin. So the one thing I would say, like if you do have a ledger, going back to who was that? That was Phil. Going back to Phil here too. If you got a ledger, if you got a Trezor, if you got a new Tangent wallet, that's okay. Like it's not a waste of money. Don't throw it out. Use that as a decoy wallet, or you can include it in your multi-sig in the future. So don't get depressed that you wasted money on it. Just be aware of it. I think the more aware you can be, the better off you're going to be in Bitcoin. So just be aware of it, take some action, get a cold card or a jade, and you can use your other wallets as decoys or within your multi-sig. Anyways, Mar says the term taking profits means not to make, the term taking profits starts not to make sense because profit means more Bitcoin. Exactly. If you use your Bitcoin to get more Bitcoin, then that is profit. Yeah, but don't put it in like a yield thing. That's the worst thing people can do. But yeah, you're right. That's the thing. And that's kind of what I'm trying to prove here is like, this is an asset that you don't want to ever sell. So why are you thinking about, why are you looking at the price? Why are you worrying about what the price is? Yep. Eric says, once you've been saving Bitcoin for at least 4 years, price drops don't matter anymore. That is true. All right, let's get to the next thing here that I wanted to share. Let's watch this video. I thought this video was really interesting, and I kind of want to talk about it as well. But maybe quickly, let's look at this. Bitcoin holdings from public corporations. It's kind of a cool graphic. A growing number of companies have adopted the MicroStrategy playbook, acquiring Bitcoin as a primary treasury reserve by reallocating cash reserves and raising capital through debt or equity offerings. So you got BlackRock here. You can see they got over 500,000 Bitcoin now holdings. I don't know how much they own themselves, though. That's all obviously client held Bitcoin. But MicroStrategy, that's theirs. That's their Bitcoin, 440,000 Bitcoin for MicroStrategy. You got Grayscale coming in just over 200,000. FBTC, is that Fidelity? I'm thinking so. Just under 200,000. And then Tether's got a nice chunk. I think they got about 88,000 Bitcoin. And then ARK, what's ARK again? Oh, that's Cathie Woods. Cathie Wood. You got Marathon, BitB. I don't know what that is. BTC. Yeah. Some ETFs and then some more miners. And then you got Tesla and Coinbase rounding things out there at the bottom. So the total there would be what? That's about $1 million between BlackRock and MicroStrategy. 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. So these companies own about 2 million Bitcoin right now. Pretty fuck all, honestly. They're going to get more. Those Bitcoin are never moving. And we need to be aware of that. They're going to, the one thing that's going to happen over the next couple of years is they're going to realize that there's not a whole lot of Bitcoin out there. And as more and more companies and countries start buying Bitcoin, it's just going to get so scarce. And so their only play there is going to be run up the price and try to make you sell it. So just be aware. This isn't something we're selling. We're holding on to this thing forever for generations to come. And we need to be more worried about securing it and protecting it more than anything else. Yeah, Tom says you can use the Jade as a temporary signing device where you have to enter your seed phrase every time you use it, or you scan it. That's how it works. You just scan a QR code that you draw, and that's how you access your wallet, your device. Parker says, trying to wrap your head around the finite aspect of Bitcoin is very difficult. Every Satoshi that you put into your stack is a Satoshi that you are preventing 8 billion other people from putting in theirs. Exactly. Very well put there, Parker. Very well put. So it's scarce. It's scarce. It's decentralized. The network itself is immutable. And another cool thing about Bitcoin is that it's programmable. It's programmable money. And so let's look at this video here. I thought this was very interesting. And well, let's just watch it.
What's up, guys? So we are going to show you something pretty cool that Jordan just created. And it's an automation with sending Bitcoin.
Yeah, so basically we just released the blueprint to Discovering El Salvador, and we want reviews. So we are offering to send our housekeeper, Veronica, $10 if you leave a review. So if we leave a review here, it was great, and you submit it, quickly put in your email, boom, it sends the review. And then automatically Veronica's wallet here is going to receive $10. And you can actually see here this address on the blockchain. It didn't send. Hang on. There it is. 303 transactions. This is unconfirmed, but it'll show up here in Electrum in just a second. Waiting for it. And just in the meanwhile, this is all on chain. The next step is to use something like LN bits and do it with Lightning, so it's faster and cheaper. There it is in Electrum. We got the next 10,000 sats, and so that will be Veronica's children's savings fund for the future.
So yeah, just in case, to run it down, we got a housekeeper, Veronica. She's awesome. She takes care of all our houses here. We have 3 houses on the street, and we created Build in El Salvador. So we also want to create a way to help Veronica out. So if you take our free course and you enjoy it and you leave a review, it's going to automatically send $10 to Veronica. This is for her kids' savings fund, basically, right?
Yeah, well, Veronica's someone that has basically lived in pretty much poverty her whole life. She's from San Salvador, and she's just done everything she can to get by. She's never had a chance to save anything. So we onboarded her to Bitcoin. We tip her every week in Bitcoin. And I told her, don't touch this until your daughter's 18. This is for your daughter. She has 2 children. One's 28 and one is 6. She was not expecting to have another child. So this is for the younger one. So she has something in the future in case of an emergency. That is something Veronica always worries about. What if something happens to her? Who will take care of her daughter? So this is a fund for her. So yeah, go to elsalvadorblueprint.com and you can take this free course, and then you'll have the option. We send her the $10. You don't even have to send $10. It's us. So.
That's pretty powerful. I mean, aside from like the cool socially responsible thing there to do in terms of supporting somebody from El Salvador who's gone through some pretty tough times in their life, but just like the fact that you can program like that, just think about the capabilities of that in the future. And Michael Saylor was one of the guys who started kind of implementing Lightning to for their employees. Like they show up at a meeting on time, they get 20 sats. And I know that's kind of been kiboshed for a little while now, but that's something that's going to be a big part of the future. You leave a review, you get 10,000 sats. You take our survey, you get 20 sats. Like these are the things that we should be taking advantage of today. Like using ZBD, I've kind of been sharing this on Nostr every morning as a reminder for people to just go on to ZBD, take their poll every day, and you're going to get 5, 10, 15, 20 sats or more. Some of them give you 50 sats just for taking a poll. It takes you 3 seconds to do. So something that takes you 3 seconds to do today, let's say you get 50 sats, it takes you 3 seconds. You could put any answer in there, just press a button, 50 sats. 10 years from now, think about how many hours or days that people are going to be working for 50 sats. The same 50 sats that you took a poll for on ZBD in 2025. So I really think that that's such an easy thing that every single person watching this stream today should be doing. And I'll put it at the top of my show notes today. I'll put that in right after the show. I'll put my referral link. I don't know what you get for it, but the same as anything, every time you're signing up for something, you should be using a Bitcoin address, Bitcoin only email address that you use specifically for your Bitcoin stuff. And you should be using a referral code. Why wouldn't you get free sats or something free for signing up that you were going to do anyways? So I'll put my ZBD link at the top here if you don't have that already. And you just go in there and you go to, I'll walk you through it here quickly. So ZBD. So at the bottom here, you can see I've earned 1,600 sats just from taking polls every day. It's pretty solid. And so you just click the bottom there. It says earn at the bottom. Click earn. You scroll down a little bit to daily poll. And I already answered this one. I got 15 sats for answering this poll this morning. What's the best topping to add to soup? I said croutons. Well, I wanted to say crackers, but croutons. And I got 15 sats for doing that. And then you just click the play button You can watch a video and earn 4 sats. You don't even have to watch it. It's just an ad that plays. 4 sats. Like, it's just crazy to me that people aren't taking advantage of this stuff right now. Nobody knows how scarce and valuable these sats are going to be in the future. So if you're getting ahead of things, you're going to be sitting pretty well in the future, I think. So that's kind of cool. So shout out to them. Keep an eye out for that in the future. There's going to be a whole lot more of like the programmable aspect of money that people are going to be utilizing. And Sap Plunger says Parker has the quote of the day. That was an excellent quote there from Parker. Good morning, old cat. Have a passport and an MK4. So that's a good setup. I mean, if you're somebody like this, you got a passport, you got an MK4, you should actually start looking at getting a multi-sig setup because you already got 2. You just get another passport, another MK4 or a Jade, and you can create a multi-sig out of that. And then you're much better protected, honestly. I don't know. I don't have enough info on this Stample Koski. Do you think the large loss of houses and the amount of people getting screwed by insurance will be the start of housing market collapse, which would in turn send more money into Bitcoin? I do think that like the rental side of Bitcoin or of real estate is all going to flow into Bitcoin. Nobody's going to have like, I shouldn't say that, but like thinking far into the future, it doesn't make any sense to hold real estate versus Bitcoin. There's just so much more stress involved. There's more that can go wrong. It's just a headache. And if you're not using the house that you're paying for, nobody's gonna keep those houses. Everybody's gonna buy Bitcoin instead. It just makes way more sense. And when things make sense, people usually go that route. All right, earned 4 sats there for watching that video. Harmonious says, I was at El Salvador the other day for vacay, and it was lit to pay with all Bitcoin. Next level. Bukele has been buying some more with the IMF deal, but you can still tell that some people don't love it. Yeah, I could see that. Change is hard for everybody. Change is hard for everybody. It's a good lesson in life. That hold on here. We got to zap 50 sats. I cannot convince my father to change its land in Bitcoin, in Brazil to Bitcoin, shitcoin and communism. So they're saying the land in Brazil is a shitcoin and a communist country. Yeah, I mean that's so true. If you hold Bitcoin, you don't have to worry about the government taking it from you. If you do it right, you don't have to worry about the government taking it from you or devaluing it or charging you property tax on it. So thank you for the sats. 50 sats from Brazil. Love that. Otis. What a great name, Otis. You said something in one of your videos. Not saying this isn't financial advice in your videos. As a content creator watching other content creators like you, Jerry, and others, I feel the same. Yeah, basically what I said, it just seems so fake to me. It's like people go on a video, they have a channel. I know it's all like for their legal purposes. And I forget who it was. One of the companies who I was working with was like, you need to say a disclaimer at the start of your show that this isn't financial advice. I'm like, no, I'm not saying that. That's stupid. Like, why would I say this isn't financial advice, but then give something that very much resembles financial advice? Anybody who says it's not financial advice, they're hiding. They're controlled by somebody else. They're pussies. It is financial advice. Trade your fake money for real money and hold on to it forever. And my point was, like, I'm all in on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin fails and you want to try to sue me, you're getting nothing because my Bitcoin is going to be worth nothing in that point. And I'm not worried about that at all. So this is financial advice. And thank you, Otis, for recognizing that and supporting that. Jason, good morning. Good morning, Jason. We got a zap here. God, I love this thing right here. 88 sats from somebody anonymously. Thank you. All right, here we go. Parker says, I agree with the free sats, but if you're buying even 10 sats per day, is it even worth your time to get the extra 10 sats? I think it is. I mean, so here's the thing for me. Here's what I think about. Is it worth it to take 5 seconds of my day to take a poll to get 10 or 15 sats? Yes, absolutely is. Because I really believe that in a decade from now, people will work a whole day for 10 or 15 sats. So me taking 3 seconds today to take a survey or a poll in exchange, so I don't have to work that same day in a decade from now, that's worth it to me. Absolutely it is. There are a bunch of things you can waste your time on in terms of like taking a half-hour survey, but even at the same time, like you take a half-hour survey, you're going to get paid like 1,000 sats. And at the same time, like think about what those 1,000 sats are going to be worth in a decade from now. That might be a whole month salary. So, I mean, if you have the conviction, I guess, that you think that day's coming, then it is worth your time. If you don't think that that's the case, then then don't do it. I think both of these are a great thing to do, Parker. 10K sats a day buying and earn some free sats on top of that. Adam says, I picked shredded cheese for 8 sats on the poll on ZBD. Shredded cheese, that is a good one. What's the best play there? Crackers, shredded cheese, sour cream. Sour cream's a weird one. I don't like putting cold things in hot things. Or what was the other one? Fresh herbs. What's the answer there? Mine would be crackers. Jet says, people hold real estate to store wealth. Bitcoin is better. People will slowly realize this. Agreed. Agree with that big time. Hey, Brandon, good morning. All right, I wanted to share this too. This was hilarious. Where is it? I meant to share this yesterday, but you guys are going to love this. You guys are going to love this. Ready? Y a Bitcoin de manera muy similar. Quiero decir, miro a MicroStrategy y a Bitcoin de manera muy similar. Quiero decir, MicroStrategy depende totalmente de Bitcoin, sin duda, pero no necesariamente van a estar conectados todo el tiempo. Y creo que en realidad hay una oportunidad allí para el arbitraje. Si puedes averiguar el valor promedio del NAV, el valor neto de los activos de la empresa comparado con Bitcoin, va a subir y bajar. Si puedes arbitrar eso, creo que hay. That is my twin brother, Jorge. That's my twin brother, Jorge, in Mexico, talking about MicroStrategy. He looks very much like me. He's even got the same panda shirt, panda riding a giraffe shirt. Pretty cool. I was they tagged me in that video actually. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I started watching it and I was like, this is pretty badass. Like somebody took my video, converted it to Spanish. I think that's Spanish with AI, and they're playing it. They're helping people learn Bitcoin in other languages. So I thought that was pretty badass. The channel is called Activos Tokenizeros. There it is right there. There's a couple of videos that looks like they just kind of translate Bitcoin clips and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. Good way to spend or good way to spread Bitcoin across the world. Otis says, Otis means wealth. I'm literally living life in Bitcoin. I pay my barber in Bitcoin. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. All sats matter. Exactly. And Rick says, if there's any possibility that 1 sat can equal $1, it's worth every sat you can get, especially for your future generations. They will love you for it. 100%. 100%, Rick. Paul says, you're a man of principle. Sats are philosophical gold. Our conviction will live on beyond us, and we will be seen as pioneers. That is very, very true. You have to stick to it. You have to understand why you're here. And I don't know. That's the most important thing for me, honestly. Best time investment is shaking your phone. Not even close. Fresh herbs. Okay. Well, I guess it depends on what soup you're eating. But anyways, yeah, I thought you guys would like that one. International Sure. Yeah, it's like Brennan says it's like when Buzz Lightyear flipped into Spanish mode. I mean, it kind of had my same like voice. It sounded a little bit different, but I thought it was pretty cool. Jorge's got some mojo. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so you know what we're going to do here? We're going to give away some Bitcoin to end the Friday today. I got to go in about 2 or 3 minutes here, but we're going to take our last toss from Bitcoin Well, and we're going to give it back to the community here, because that is the right thing to do. I haven't been topped up for my January balance yet, but that's okay. We'll give it to the community here. All right, so we got one toss left. Hopefully this is a valuable one for people. So get your Lightning wallets out, press send, and get ready to toss here. This is the last toss we have on Bitcoin Well. I got to email Conrad to get some tosses. I just haven't had a chance to do it yet. So anyways, this is the last toss. Ready? Hopefully it's a big one. Ready, set, go. Lots of build up there, eh? Come on, baby. Big one. 210. All right. Well, that's the easiest way to get 210 sats you'll ever see. If you're the fastest, if you got a good Lightning wallet, then you're going to get some free sats here. So congratulations to whoever won the Bitcoin Well coin toss today. That is courtesy of the Bitcoin Well and the Bitcoin Journey. That was my last toss that I have. So you're welcome. So there's been quite a few people using, signing up for Bitcoin Well using the referral link. You get 5 free tosses into the well for using this link here, bitcoinwell.com/Jor. And I just think, I actually heard one of my favorite podcasts. They were talking about Bitcoin Well yesterday and how many good features they have compared to other Bitcoin platforms. It's awesome. I'm a huge fan of Bitcoin Well. They are a supporter of the show. I don't get any money from them or any sort of sponsorship from them. They just give sats to the community here. Every day on the show, we promote them. We give some back to the community. That's it. But I use Bitcoin Well exclusively, and that's why I'm so excited to be working with them and to be talking about them. I love them for, let's say, 3 reasons. Number one is they're on Team Bitcoin, and that's a big deal to me. I fully trust them. They've been around for close to 10 years now. They have a very good track record. And the nice thing is I don't have to trust them at all, because when I send them dollars, they send me Bitcoin. They don't hold anybody's Bitcoin. They don't even have a wallet there. So you send them dollars, they send you Bitcoin. You can do it on chain or on Lightning. I do my recurring DCA using Lightning. Once my balance gets up, that's when I send it to cold storage. Number two is the fees. I think it's like 1.2% fees. I think they got the lowest fees in North America. So if you're making bigger purchases, that definitely matters with this. So I think that they do have the lowest fee in North America. So that's number 2, fees. And number 3 is just the usability, like the user experience on the website. I feel more than confident and comfortable sending my friends, family, people of this community to Bitcoin Well, because it's so easy to use. And regardless of where you're at in your Bitcoin journey, it's nice to have a platform that works well and is easy to kind of navigate. So if you're in Canada, if you're in the US, make sure you get yourself a Bitcoin Well account and try them out. That's all I ask. Give them a shot, buy some Bitcoin there, see what your experience is like, and you can thank me later for that. Okay, so thanks once again, everybody, for the zaps. We got quite a bit today for Fat Zap Friday. Make sure you show up today for the Bitcoin Amigo show, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Let me bring that up quickly. I think we hit 500 subscribers, or not 500, 300 on Bitcoin Amigos here. And all the songs are on there now, all the lyric songs. We started the show with Fat Zap Friday today. We got 306. All right, we'll take that. We'll take 306. We can do a lot better than that, but we can manage that. So here we go, Bitcoin Amigos. Let me share this in the chat here quickly. Make sure you go over there, subscribe, turn on the notifications. And definitely stop by today at 4 p.m. Eastern time and hang out, drink a beer, and we'll talk some Bitcoin, talk some bullshit in Bitcoin. Jet says, Bitcoin is more than money. Bitcoin is truth and objective history. Probably the most slept on part of Bitcoin is the historical aspect and the fact that my favorite sailor quote, there's going to come a day where everything before Bitcoin is considered to be bullshit because we can't verify it. Up until 2009, January 3rd, 2009, we couldn't verify anything, but we can now. So that is definitely a big part of Bitcoin's time chain, blockchain, and something we should be proud of and something we should be putting all of our time and energy into pushing this thing forward. So thank you, everybody. I see some new faces in the chat. Bitcoin Revolution says, if you buy KYC Bitcoin, then privacy steps are not really helping you much. Depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about KYC versus non-KYC. Honestly, just get as many sats as you can. If you have an easy, good way to get some non-KYC Bitcoin, definitely take that. But don't not buy Bitcoin because it's KYC. If everybody needs to be KYC'd and everybody's scared to use their Bitcoin, then I would say Bitcoin has failed. Plus, instead of selling it in the future, you want to take a loan against it. It's going to have to be KYC'd anyways. So definitely get what you can in non-KYC Bitcoin, but don't obsess over it. So thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the zaps, and we'll see you at 4 p.m. Eastern time today. Have a great Friday, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.